Hi guys! So the last time that I was at my parents' house, my mum gave me a big bag of old like school things and stuff to look through. It's always fun looking back on those things, and one of the things that I found is of significance to BookTube, so I thought I would share it with you guys. It's a speech that I wrote when I was about 9 years old. I have no memory of writing this speech or doing this speech, but lo and behold, I wrote it. I was about, like I said, 9 when I wrote this, about 14 years ago, quite a long time. My speech was on why you should read. Even as a 9-year-old, it seems I was obsessed with reading and wanted to tell everyone else about it. Here I am, 14 years later, making videos on the internet about it. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny, and I thought I would share my speech with you guys. So basically, if you're wanting a reason as to why you should read, 9-year-old Roya is about to tell you. This book I'm reading at the moment is very interesting. It's called The Xyla Rebellion. It's full of mystery, and more mystery. I really enjoy it. First little side note is that I remember reading The Xyla Rebellion and another book by the same author called Xyla and Me. It was kind of like a little series, and it's by Helen Dunmore. I just did a quick Google because I was like, I remember that book, I love that book. And they're actually listed on Wikipedia as a young adult series. There was 3 books in it. I don't remember the third one. I don't think I read it. But I did read The Xyla Rebellion and Xyla and Me, which by the way have been renamed. If you try and look for them and can't find them, I might link them down below if I can find them online. But I love those books. I remember the stories very well because I feel like I read them over and over. And I never owned them either. I just kept getting them out from the library at school over and over. Reading is amusing. It is amazing what pleasure you can get from a book. Whether they're picture books, fiction books, or non-fiction books, I think they are wonderful. But some people say, what use are a bunch of words written on paper? I could give you a million answers, but I won't. Anyway, what do they know? Another answer, nothing. I was sassy as a 9-year-old. Well, anyway, I think books are really neat. Here's a question for you to think about while I'm announcing my main points. When did you start reading? Okay, my main points are 1. Things you can read. 2. Why you need to read. And 3. Encourage others to read. Basically, you can read anything with words on it. I had to study hard for that bit of information. It was hard to get. 9-year-old sarcasm. Well, you can read newspapers, books, street signs, and much more. But for now, I will just tell you about a newspaper because they are full of lots of stuff. Side note again, I don't read the newspaper anymore. My parents used to get the newspaper every day, and I'd kind of read the bits that interested me, like after my dad had finished reading it, and sometimes for school we had to like find an article to bring into school for some reason. So I used to read newspapers quite a lot, and I feel like when I was probably like in my later years at high school, we stopped getting the newspaper, and now I just have Stuff and the New Zealand Herald as apps on my phone, and I just read them every day. The sad decline of the newspaper. Newspapers, firstly, are full of the world news, your country news, as in national news is what I was trying to say, horoscopes, jobs available, for sales, sports, the weather, and finally the television page. Of course, I don't watch television too often. I'd much rather sit down on my rug or my couch and read a good book. Now this brings me to my second point. How can you encourage others to read? A good way is to do a speech like I'm doing. But I can't tell you how to do that because it is my secret. But there are other ways. Here are some more. You can talk to someone about a book you're reading and they might want to read it too, which is funny because that's exactly what I'm doing on BookTube. Or you could get them to come to school to see slightly famous people read to children. Even famous people like reading, which I feel like was probably a little bit of like sass as well to say like slightly famous people. Overall, my point is get others reading. But why, you moan? Why do we need to read? Once again, I could give you a million answers. Well, I could, but I won't because it would take ages. But one reason is definite. Jobs. Practically every job contains reading. Emergency workers have to read reports, movie stars have to read scripts, singers have to read songs, posties have to read addresses, and shopkeepers have to read labels. Okay, so you've got the idea. Ask me any job and I could tell you what they have to read. But not everything you have to read is boring, so trust me, you need to read. That reminds me, have you got an answer to my question yet? You've probably forgotten. Oh well, now I will remind you of my 3 points. 1, there are lots of things you can read. 2, encourage others to read. And 3, you need to read. Read something every day. It is fun. That was my 9-year-old thoughts on reading. Not a lot's changed, to be honest. I still agree with most of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.